mirrors they put up for themselves. And there's so many people like that. You know, you see their words and then you see their actions, and you've got to shake your head that they can't put the two together. But they're so in denial, they're so subject to cognitive dissonance, where they can rearrange reality so that they can do things that are clearly unpleasant but somehow justify it to themselves. But these people are in a terrible mess, and they're never going to purge themselves of that stuff until they recognize that there's stuff to be purged. And there is in all of us.
Well, that's the get off your knees. I mean, this is part of the get off your knees part of your message.
Yeah.
That it's time for us collectively and individually to really grow up, address what we are. I mean, you can't fix something if you, like you said, if you don't even know there's something wrong. So in your solutions part, because some people will say, okay, you've told us what's wrong, you've told us who these beings are, and I'm frightened, I'm scared, you know, you have that. But then let's look at the other side of it. You're also saying, A, stop lying to yourself, assess it, accept what is, and then start doing what?
Well, for me, the starting point before anything happens is a blank sheet of paper. I think this is so important, because we're not having to find enlightenment. We are enlightened, if you want to use that term. What we need to address are the barriers of belief systems and preconceived ideas that are about self and the world, that are disconnecting us from that enlightenment. And it's these programs that have to go. And when you get a blank sheet of paper, symbolically, and you say, I am coming to this with no preconceived idea, never mind previous belief, blank sheet of paper, information, and what I feel, what my intuition is telling me, that's going to be my guide from now on. And everyone I've met that has, in whatever subject area, made a difference, they've started with a blank sheet of paper, because to make a difference they've had to clear themselves of preconceived ideas which were limiting their perception of what was possible and were clouding their judgment and clouding their clarity. I'll give you a very quick example. About 2 weeks ago, I did a little one-day event on the Isle of Wight, just for 200 people in a hotel, with a man called Tullio Simoncini.
Oh, yes.
Who was I found him a lovely man. He's an Italian cancer doctor, or was. Very, very, you know, well-respected cancer surgeon. But he got fed up with seeing children dying. He worked in children's wards a lot, with the radiation and the chemotherapy, and he realized that in the end they weren't really doing much good for anybody. So he did the classic I've just talked about. He got a blank sheet of paper. He said, I'm going to look at this cancer again. Never mind what I learned in medical school, never mind all that stuff, I'm going to look at this again. And what he thought was, okay, what are the common themes here? When I'm doing cancer operations, what are the common themes that I see? And one of them was that when you cleaned everything up of blood and all that stuff, what you saw were white nodules. So he thought, what the hell is that? What is this stuff? It's on every cancer, or around every cancer. And he realized it was candida. He realized that we all have candida, but the immune system keeps it under control. But when the immune system is suppressed, what suppresses the immune system? All the rubbish in food and drink, stress, all this business, electromagnetic fields that destabilize the body field and all the rest of it. And so therefore, when the immune system is depleted, this candida starts to increase, and it becomes a runaway fungus. At that point, he found that, and what is candida? It's white, and that's why the white is always there in cancer, that he saw in every operation. And he then realized that once the candida becomes this runaway fungus, the immune system, in effect, panics. It can't deal with it as it normally would, because it's got too strong. So it starts to build cellular walls as barriers to protect organs, etc., from this fungus. That's what we call cancerous growth. And I saw these before and after pictures when I was with him for that weekend. And what happens is, again, blank sheet of paper, clear your mind. Okay, we're dealing with a fungus here, so what do you need? Antifungal drugs, no good. After about 4 doses, the fungus mutates and starts feeding off the drug. Okay, what I need is something, an absolutely brilliant killer of fungus. What was that? Sodium bicarbonate, a major additive to baking powder. So this guy then gets ridiculed. You know, Dee says he's curing cancer with baking powder. He's an idiot. No, actually, mirror over there. If you want to see an idiot, go and look in it. You know, because.
But he had astounding results.
Oh yeah, the reason he used sodium bicarbonate and still uses it is because it kills fungus.
Yeah, right.
And when
and not people.
No, but when the fungus is gone because of the sodium bicarbonate, the immune system then goes, phew, and dismantles the cellular walls, and you go back from a horrific cancerous growth and fungus to healthy tissue in the same place. You know, one woman was cured of breast cancer in 12 days, because with breast cancer you can get to it, because the sodium bicarbonate, as I understand it, has to go on the cancer.
I think he injects it, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's finding more and more ways of doing it. But what happened to this guy? Of course, the medical establishment came down on him, threatened him with jail and all this stuff, and he's still going. He will not have it. He will not be stopped. The first guy that he did it for, when he first saw that it worked, was given 7 months to live with lung cancer 20 odd years ago. The guy's still alive, and amazing results. As long as you get it quick enough, amazing results. And even late stage ones are being massively turned back. And of course, no guaranteed results, but the results for themselves show that this is massively effective. And if it was done in a organized way across the medical system, rather than one guy, you know, trying to do it alone, my God, what massive results we'd have. But the system, the pharmaceutical cartel, which is just another kind of tentacle of the system, it doesn't want people cured of cancer. First of all, it's making a fortune from billions and billions from treating the symptoms, but it also doesn't want people living longer. But the point of all that, apart from, hey, you know, if you're in trouble with cancer, take a look at this, is that he had to go back to a blank sheet of paper before he could see it, because all the preconceived idea, programming and medical education was kind of hiding it. It's cellular malfunction, it's cellular malfunction. And so, well, what do we do about cellular malfunction? Well, do what you like, mate. It ain't going to cure the cancer because it ain't cellular malfunction. And we need, first of all, if we want to transform ourselves, I would say, to go back to a blank sheet of paper. Never mind our preconceived idea of ourselves and our preconceived idea of the world. Let's start again here. Never mind what we've believed. Okay, what does the information and the way we feel about it, where does that lead us? And go with that, because it's finding our true self and connecting with it is actually a process not of seeking enlightenment, but of deprogramming. Deprogramming.
Like we talked about, the rules of the poor gas station attendant who couldn't address something so simple as a child in need.
Exactly. And some of the extremes you go to are unbelievable. And then realize where the power lies. We look all the time at consequences. I think that people realize what a prison that is. Okay, if I jump off this cliff, what are the consequences? That's one level in which consequences actually are quite relevant in the holographic world anyway. But there's other things like, I'd like to do this with my life, but what are the, not physical consequences, what are the consequences in my life of what people, how people perceive me, what they'll say, and what will people think of me? What are the consequences? Or if I speak my truth, what are the consequences of people ridiculing me because my truth is different to the norm? And if we sit there and we list all the consequences for what might happen if we do what we know to be right, then most people don't do what they know to be right. So for me, get rid of the consequences. Keep the bits, the physical bits. If I jump out of an aircraft